Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. That wasn't
Not funny.
planned.
So, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. Just like I'm in New York now. We'll talk about that in a bit, but just been working, like finalizing a collection and like doing a bunch of other stuff, like trying to make things come together. So it's
Sick.
exciting.
Yeah, a lot's happened in the past few months. I want to run through it with you, starting with the pop-up. How has it been, or how did that go?
Yeah, so that store in LA was really to like test out what it's like to have a retail store and kind of like learn how to run things on the fly because like I've never worked retail and I've obviously never like ran a store before. So it was really kind of like a learning experience. I think it went really well. We got to do a lot of events and just like get a little taste of what that world is like because I think doing retail is something that makes me interested and I think it's just really important for a brand's sake.
I saw you guys did a few different types of events. Can you walk me through a couple of those?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think our goal was not just to open a store and be like, okay, here's the store. It was to sort of like develop some sort of community aspect constantly and like get people to come back and hang out and like kind of just create like friendships and like just like a space for people to meet at. Also did that combining with like doing different drops. So when we would do a drop, we wouldn't just be like, okay, the clothes are available. For our two like main deliveries of the Peacemaker collection, we held like some sort of event on the drop weekend. So the first drop was the opening. And then the second one we did kind of like a barbecue slash like chess tournament. People were just kind of hanging out on the sidewalk. All the neighbors were like didn't really know what was going on because we were new.
I saw you guys had like the logos on the burgers, right?
No, no, no. That was
What?
Photoshop. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got me, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah. That was just
That's
like a little,
genius.
yeah, a little
That's
campaign.
so detailed. Why would you put who even thought of that?
But yeah, it was crazy. Like the chess tournament ended, it was one guy who was wearing like just like those Yeezy boots and like sunglasses the whole time, and he was just like eating burgers and like drinking beers and smoking. And then this other guy who ended up winning, who like dropped out of a real chess tournament just to come to ours, and then he just like wiped everyone. But they were both like really good, and it was just like something that I never expected to happen, but everyone was just kind of like huddled around, like watching it. Um,
So sick.
yeah.
That's
So
crazy. Interesting
that day
pick.
was like really fun for sure. And I think it was cool because like people would show up and they're like, maybe they didn't want to buy anything from the drop. They'd be like, can I still get a burger? And it's like, of course, like, yo, here's your burger. Like, just enjoy yourself. And I think that was something that I really wanted to push is including everyone, even if they're not a customer or whatever that day. I kind of wanted to do things where like there's no catch
Yeah.
like we have this space already like let's use it just like to let people have fun and like meet other people so
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I love that. Any other events other than that
yeah
one?
we didn't do that many. The other big one we did was like a cars and coffee,
Yeah.
our other coffee company that we hired to like cater the coffee for us. Last minute they had to drop out due to like a family emergency, and the night before I was like scrambling being like what are we going to do, and I was able to confirm with this like really cool coffee company from like they live an hour away, I'm not exactly sure where, called White Sparrow, and they came through last minute. Like they had their whole cart, they named like a drink after us, like it was
Dope.
awesome. They had like the little custom menu. So yeah, that like everyone loved their coffee. And like yeah, it was really cool. And then on top of that, we had the cars, ERA picture cars, like a couple of my friends who we've like worked with in the past. Our I think our meet was from 10 to 2. I was a little worried because it's not like I have a big like network of car people or like I was expecting a crazy turnout. But then like 2 minutes before 10, like a bunch of just like vintage BMWs and Porsches and Mercedes just like rolled up. And I'm like, okay, like ERA came through and like we got the parking lot across the street and it just turned out to be like this awesome event with like, I don't know. It was really cool.
That's
Just bringing like both of these were completely different crowds of people, but I think I really wanted to use like the store and like the brand's reach to bring people like that together, you know. Like you wouldn't expect Fugazi to do something like that.
I feel like it broadens the perspective where it's not putting you in a box where like, oh, Fugazi is only this one thing. It's like we can do whatever we want. We're just having fun. I
Yeah,
love that you keep pushing that. You know what I mean? It's like fuck it every time. I love that.
for sure. Yeah, that's always been my thing is like I just kind of want to be able to do whatever I want whenever. And like that's like something that I try to maintain and like hold on
Yeah.
to, whether it be I want to make like this specific clothing item that doesn't quite make sense, or I want to do something over here. And I think the store is also a good way for like me to kind of let my like personal interests shine through that wouldn't otherwise shine through like from just the brand. The internet feels very repetitive,
Yeah.
and I'm like kind of craving just doing like these things in person, because like seeing even like 20 people at the store is way cooler than seeing like 2,000 people on the website. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but there's more to it, and you can like put a face to the people, and I think they really appreciate
Yeah.
it. And overall, it's just like it's everything is always good vibes. There's no like hating like in person.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like smiles and everyone gets along. So
Just talk to me about like the end of the pop-up, how things finished. Any notable moments there?
yeah, so I think it was originally for April, May, June, and it was like going really well. We had another drop coming, so we're like, yo, let's just extend it another month. And that was like really cool moment to even stay one more month, because like it just felt the space to everyone who was working at the store and like working on the project. Like I think we grew like pretty attached to it. So yeah, we stayed longer. That was cool. And then when it did come time to wrap up, we were sort of like, what do we do next? And that's when like the conversation of New York came up. We can talk about that in a bit. The last few days we were just like packing everything up and driving, like again, a lot of U-Hauls, a lot of getting everything gone. But I think I got a clip of like the last 10 minutes or something. Everyone was just kind of hanging out, like playing chess or some other like dice game, just kind of like waiting for the clock to tick down. I think I actually filmed a video of like the last customer like looking, and I don't even know if he knew who I was or knew that it was about to close. So I feel like it might have been a little weird, but we were all just so tired by that point that it was like we're delirious almost. But yeah, it was definitely bittersweet closing it, but they're I guess eventually going to renovate that building, so we had to move out eventually anyway. So that's
Man,
why like we ended up closing it.
dude, how iconic though. That's really cool.
It was a great experience. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. So in terms of collections and things that have dropped, what have been some of your favorite things that you've made?
Like during while the store was going, we still had to just like run the brand as a normal brand. So we were trying to like keep up the drops to have new stuff at the store all the time, and just like, got to keep doing what we're already doing. So the first thing that we dropped was like the Tibets. For that, we did like a little mini video, and we ended up with kind of like a tongue-in-cheek little funny commercial. A little bit later, for the second delivery of the Peacemaker collection, yeah, I was in New York, and I was like, I got to bring all the clothes. We have this little concept, this little theme running through the collection called white collar workwear. And I just thought it would make perfect sense to shoot it on Wall Street. And this is kind of like what we came up with. And also you can see it was like very run and gun, just me and Vic. We brought all the clothes. They're just kind of like sprawled out on the sidewalk. And he was just changing like on the street, and we shot it one by one. I think it was 12 different looks or something. But yeah, I'm like proud of how it turned out. And also I've been pushing myself to get behind the camera more. And this was like one of the first campaigns that I had like shot in full, like on my own in a while.
And I
Yeah, I
love
mean,
the edit that you made, the really long shot that you made.
mhm.
That
Yeah,
was so
I've
sick.
been into doing those. Like, I kind of just like doing wide stuff, and I was like, but it
Yeah,
was really hard to like perfectly predict. Like, okay, he has to walk here, then here. We were kind of like
yeah.
memorizing it in head. It turned out pretty decently where we got to squeeze in all the looks. It's not definitely not my best work, but I was happy with it. I think we had a little gap for a while there, probably like a month and a half, where we didn't really do much, just kind of like we're at the store, kind of like letting it do its thing. And then we came back to do like the third delivery of the collection. Of course, for that drop, we had like the bowling animation by this dude on Instagram, 4J USA, who just like, I had this idea last year for another collection. Well, last time we dropped bowling shirts, and I didn't really quite know how to make it happen. And then he just like came through and executed like above and beyond of like what I could have ever hoped. So it was just like a fun little campaign.
Dude, when I saw that, I was very impressed. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But yeah, I'm trying to maintain this thing of like having like, I don't know, like good posts, good videos, like every drop, and just have things be exciting. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
you're definitely doing it, man. Behind each campaign, even if it's like a simpler one, I feel like you still have some extra effect to it that isn't just photos.
For like when we had the barbecue going, we had the sign flipper dude too. He like flips the sign. I
Oh
could,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, I
yeah,
saw.
just like little things like that. I think are really fun to do and kind of like fit into the brand ethos. And when I had come to New York that last time, and like when I did the shoot with Victor, I kind of would just be like walking around, and I'm like, damn, like this is kind of feels like this is like the big leagues or whatever. Like all the you feel tiny in the city. I kind of feel like there's just so much opportunity to reach like new audiences, and also that goes along with my emphasis to try to build like a small little niche community like around our brand with like the events and stuff. So at some point we just decided like, all right, let's go try a similar thing in New York. And now we're here. It's been a few months. I've aside from like doing the store stuff, I've been like working on the next full collection, and it's not quite ready yet, but the clock is ticking. Like it's going to be ready soon, and we want to sort of present something alongside the collection. But that's what we've been doing now is I've walked around New York, like New York City, like 20 times probably on every street, just rechecking like did anything open up? What's going on? I'm on the like LoopNet all day, just looking for spaces. And it's pretty hard to negotiate a short-term lease here. We're it's just you don't have a lot of leverage when you're our age, but we're
Yeah.
trying our best. So I don't know if we'll end up coming back to LA like kind of empty-handed, do something really short-term like last year, maybe even in the same space, or we might end up like staying longer. Who knows?
Sounds like a lot of patience for sure.
Yeah,
Like a
it's
long one
there's
like
been
that.
days like I've been pretty frustrated and like I don't know. It feels like not much I can do besides what I'm already doing, but if nothing else, it's like a really big learning experience, and I wouldn't have ever had this perspective if I didn't come here and try it.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it is what it is, but we're still pushing, and hopefully something comes of it. Aside from like the challenges with the store and stuff, like moving to New York, there's been a lot of like positive aspects as well. First of all, it's like a big change of scenery, and there's like new inspirations, new like backdrops and things like that. So the first thing we did was we dropped the varsity jacket that Simon, it's like a lot of his artwork on there. We did like a video where since it's reversible, I wanted it to be like it's basically like someone hanging out with themselves.
Yeah.
And we got Sean and we shot it with like these two guys named the Torres brothers. But yeah, that was just a fun video. You can it was just a whole crew of like 6 to 10 people going around the city like having fun.
That was
Yeah,
definitely one of my favorite videos that you've come up with.
thank you. The only other thing that like I shot was the most recent drop. The most recent one was like the chain splatter stuff. So we had the denim jacket, the t-shirt, the pants, and that was with Kaido. I had a few ideas, didn't end up working, and I'm like, let's just walk around and like shoot. And we ended up shooting it in the afternoon, and like I'm like actually really happy how it turned out. We were supposed to do wheat pasting around New York and ended up happening, but that was kind of the vibe I was going for.
Yeah. How did you come up with just the concept of having the quotes?
How do I explain it? I always feel like companies like kind of flex their like mentions by like media outlets. And when I was editing the photos, I was like looking for like some catch to like make it on brand. And I thought of that like doing the quotes because they are real quotes. They're just not about Fugazi. And like on the second page, it has a little disclaimer of like these are completely real, but they're not about Fugazi. And like that just ties into the whole idea of Fugazi where it's like kind of bending what's real and like kind of being a little crafty and like taking advantage of your situations in like a smart way rather than just being the biggest or like the brand with the most money. No shoot is just like, oh, this is a shoot. It always has something to it that's like deeper. So that
Yeah.
if you're really paying attention, you kind of like see what we're going for. And I always think that's really important is the concepts themselves.
Absolutely. That's the shit I care about. And that's very entertaining. You know what I mean? Because every time
Yeah.
you post something, I'm looking at it, but I'm like looking at it closer than I would any other post because I know you care about the details. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot. So it's
Thank
sick.
you. Thank you for spending this time to like ask me about all this shit. I don't know,
Of
like
course.
if it sounds interesting, but I just want to like continue with the whole YouTube thing and like showing people what we're up
Yeah.
to, and what we've been up to, even if I haven't been posting like constantly. Yeah, everything's up in the air, but next video it's gonna be hopefully like all cleared up, and it's gonna be like, okay, like they had a little point where it was unknown, and then they're like right back to it. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing everything. I really appreciate it.
Or
Really
this
learned a
question
lot.
has been like a long time in the making, and like it's kind of a little bit of a new vibe. Nick just laughed. So like I'm excited to like show it. I don't know. It's gonna be
You got to get
intriguing.
Nick on the camera, bro. Hey, Nick.
What up? Bro, you guys have been chatting.
Yeah, we got peace and love from the big city, the Big Apple. I don't know how to end this, but hopefully people, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll just have it fade out here.
Like, subscribe, comment, share, follow.
Buy some shit.
Yeah, support Big Oil.
Yeah. Check the site.
Check the site, fugazi.org. Yeah.
Fugazi.